Let's go, let's go, let's go. Alright, people wanna hate every day, it's okay.
All right, welcome back, Reckless Success. Tonight we got my beautiful wife, Ellie.
Hello.
Everybody loves Ellie. So we have been busy. I've turned 40 now. So since last episode, we've been celebrating, which was like for me a month ago, it seems like.
Yeah.
We've been celebrating for at least 2 to 3 weeks because it's a big birthday. We started with my beautiful wife throwing me an awesome party at a nice venue here local. We had one of
Field
our
of Dreams.
Field of Dreams. What is it, a wedding venue or just any kind of venue?
It's any
Just
kind of venue, but
a
they
party
do
venue.
weddings. It's indoor, outdoor, super great to work with, like nice
Very easy.
setup, wonderful owners. It was just great all around. We had a great experience.
Had good help from a lot of friends helping set up.
So it's interesting how you make friends through business. So our rock supplier is Able Construction locally, and Brittany Able, one of the owners, does event planning and like desserts on the side, which I totally forgot about. And I was inviting her and her dad to come to Jesse's party, and she asked me what I was doing for desserts and decor. And I was like, well, Jesse wants to keep it super simple. Like, he barely let me throw him a party because I was like, I've been planning this party for like 5 years. Like, I'm ready
I
to.
originally wasn't going to let her throw a party.
No.
I didn't want a party at all.
No. And then he finally let me. I was like, I just feel like it would be a fun opportunity to get all of our old friends and family together. Like, no one ever gets together. So he finally agreed. But Brittany literally took over, luckily, and made it. I was gonna get like plastic Walmart tablecloths. Like, I was doing it so simple, and because you wanted it simple, so I didn't want to like blow a bunch of money on all this stuff.
Just side note, when Lesa goes shopping, I'm like, oh, baby, where'd you go shopping? And it's like, I don't know, Burtdale's or like some fancy place. And then I'll talk to her and I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, oh, I'm just getting you some deodorant at the dollar store. I'm like, why does all my stuff come from the dollar
It
store? Your
doesn't.
stuff all comes from like Sephora's.
I'm actually a bargain shopper. I don't even know what you mean. I buy some nice stuff to make it so it's quality and it lasts, but I literally love shopping at yard sales too.
Yeah, you're right.
So I can go either way with shopping. But Jesse did complain about his deodorant once not being a good enough brand, and I bought him a really nice expensive deodorant off Amazon, and it was really expensive. And remember, you hated it, like
Dude, it
stained
was
your
that
shirt.
Sasquatch. It was like
It
Sasquatch.
like stained your
I
shirt.
put it on. My shirt was like caked with this resin.
It was like
It was
wax.
like wax or something. I could scratch it off with a knife.
So now, so it's Walmart where I buy it, and that's
Yeah.
an appropriate place to buy
Okay.
deodorant. But anyway, so Brittany saved the day and offered as a gift to do all the decorations and dessert, but obviously we aren't going to let her do that.
Is that who made the cookies? The ones
Oh,
with the
but there was
faces?
cookies that I had my friend Alicia at Sugar
Okay.
Time Sweets make, because she does super specialty sugar cookies, and did like all of Jesse's favorite things, like his old Raptor, the old jet boat, mopeds,
Deep Eddie's bottle.
Deep Eddie's bottles, our logo, and then
My
she
face.
did. Oh, we'll put a picture up. She made a cookie with Jesse's face on it. That's like, I'm 40. It was so good.
She wanted to do the like fans, the hand fans are like this big with my face, so people
With
could
the
hold
eyes
them
cut
up.
out.
I didn't want that.
He
I was
was
like, "Please
on to
don't,
me
baby."
because one night I was like, I need a picture of you straight on. And we were like in the kitchen randomly. He was like, okay. And he like stood there and smiled. And then he's like, wait a second.
I was like, what do you need this picture for?
And you said it. You were like, you better not be making my head on a stick for the party. And I was like, that is what I'm doing. But I instead made straws, which I could put a picture up too, with Jesse's face on them. And they were awesome. And everybody loved them.
They did.
And my best friend actually all night had the straw like in her cleavage. So like we went out to the casino and Jesse's face was just propped up all night. And people were like, who the heck is that guy? Like, who's in your shirt? It was really funny. We had a great time.
We did have a good time.
Epidemic played,
Yeah, we had a band.
the rock band.
It was awesome.
So lots of friends came. I think everybody had a great time. Oh, Blazing Trails Barbecue did the food. It was
Best
so,
barbecue in Southern
oh my
Illinois.
God, and their mac and cheese. It was so good.
You were devastated.
Yeah, so when I ordered the food, he recommended doing a large pan and a half pan of mac and cheese, just based on how many people it feeds. And so whenever they brought the food, I had the extra half pan like in the kitchen, and I was gonna bring it out if we needed it. Well, we never needed it. So I was like, sweet, we have a whole half pan of mac and cheese to bring home. And it was the best mac and cheese. I don't even like,
Smoked. It was smoked.
and I don't like mac and cheese, but it was like so creamy. If you haven't had it, go get it. It's literally so good. So obviously at the party we drank, And so the next day, like, I'm tired, we're wore out, borderline, I don't even want to say hungover, but exhausted, a little hungover. But I'm like looking forward to this mac and cheese all day. But we had like stuff to do. We had to pick up our kids from where they stayed, run errands, just do random stuff. And at like 4 or 5 p.m., I was like, oh yeah, it's mac and cheese time. Like, I've been thinking about this mac and cheese all day. And I went and opened the pan, and it was not mac and cheese, it was extra barbecue. And I was like,
She was so let down. I almost left. What was it, Sunday? I
yeah.
almost left to go up to West Frankfurt to
I
get
mean,
a
I
pan
was
of mac and
devastated
cheese.
about that. It's something
She
about
was
being
heartbroken.
hungover when you like really need a certain type of food and then you don't get it. So anyway,
Right.
I don't know why I threw that story in, but it was a big part of my day.
So that was weekend one. We done the party here, and then 3 days later we went to Vegas
Because we're psychopaths.
because we're psychopaths and we
That
like
was
to
so
celebrate.
stressful.
We like to celebrate. I don't know why we celebrate so hard,
Because it's a big birthday and
and we like to celebrate. It's
and we
just
like
what we
to,
do.
yeah,
We'll
we
celebrate Cool Hand Luke's birthday
yeah.
and not even know what day it is.
I do
Like,
love to celebrate people and their birthday, but especially
yes.
my husband. But Jesse had never been to Vegas. I used to go, like me and Leah talked about, in my 20s all the time with my girlfriends. We had so much fun. Like, you never have a bad time in Vegas. I just love so many things about it. And I thought, well, and originally Leah and her husband were going to come with us, but they had to cancel because they had other stuff come up. So, which is fine because me and Jesse have a lot of fun together. So just me and Jesse went, but we had literally the best trip. Like, it was
So much fun.
exceptional. We stayed at the Cosmopolitan, which highly recommend. I had never stayed
Yes.
there.
It has a balcony over the Bellagio fountains.
I think it's the
So
only hotel people said
I
with
think so.
like open balconies.
Yeah.
And I would not go and not have that. I mean, it was so
It's
nice to be able
Cosmo
to
every
step
time.
out with that view in the day or the night, the fountains, the strip. I mean, it was incredible.
Mhm.
Easy access to everything right in the middle of the strip. But yeah, so we got there like literally at 6:30 in the morning on Thursday and had the
Right.
whole
We
day
started at 6:30 a.m.
in Vegas. Or if we
Like
were on the ground in
my
Vegas.
first experience with Vegas was great. Loved it. By 7 a.m., I'm standing outside a casino and I see these two girls and they got this old dude up against the wall. One girl's like grabbing his dick and acting like she's trying to hook up with him. This is an old dude that's like 70. These girls are like
Did you say he
20s.
was drunk?
He was drunk. Yeah, he was leaving the casino or bar or whatever. One girl's got her hands on his dick. The other one's squeezing his pockets, going in his pockets, just pulling out his money and just taking it. I'm like, what the hell? So I'm watching this from down the way a little bit. I'm not trying to get involved because, I want to see how it plays out. One of the girls leaves the group. The other is still talking to the guy, and she walks over to me, and she's walking up, and she's like, "Hey, how you doing?" And I was like, "Bitch, get the fuck away from me!" And she was like, "What?" And I was like, "I will knock you out." I said, "I saw what you did to that guy." So she walks off. Here comes two cops. Like where I'm from, you tell the cops like, "Hey, he stole my purse." The cops
Yeah.
like, "Go get him." I tell these two cops, I'm like, "Hey, I just watched those girls rob that guy right there. They're all right there still." And the cops just kept walking. They said, "Well, I'd stay away from them."
Yeah.
And just kept strolling. I was like,
They have bigger fish to fry.
"Yeah,
So, I mean, yeah, you definitely have to be cautious and aware of things in Vegas. You can't be stupid and foolish.
20 minutes later, we're walking down the sidewalk. On the side of the sidewalk is a pair of underwear
Ew.
that looks like somebody squatted over the top and just blew diarrhea all over. I'm
It was
like, how
disgusting.
the fuck did somebody take their underwear off, put them on the ground, and then shit all over them? I don't know, but they
It was
did.
nasty.
It was bad.
And at 7 a.m., there were a lot of, or not a lot, but quite a few homeless people, and they were in rough shape. Like
Rough
they were
shape.
on some hardcore drugs, and they were acting a little weird and
It wasn't
crazy.
meth. It
don't know
wasn't
what it was.
heroin. It was like shake. It was like bath salts. It was crazy.
One guy was eating a jar of spaghetti sauce.
One guy was laying in the jar of spaghetti sauce. Like he was laying down. And the trash can over here had like a bunch of melted ice cream coming out of it. And it went to his back and then like under his back. And there was more. And he was
Oh.
just passed out. And I'm thinking, these are not your typical
So,
homeless. These
no.
homeless are fucked up.
But it was, and this is the bad part of Vegas, that I literally, that's the only moment in time that we were there that I saw
That's the only
any of
part.
this.
Yep.
Otherwise, they were like cleaning the handrails on the escalators. They were scrubbing the sidewalk,
Yep.
cleaning the windows outside. Like everybody was happy to be there.
We also didn't go out at 6:30 a.m. anymore either. I think it was
Right.
just
That's what I
'cause
mean,
we
that
were early
time frame. I
morning.
think that
Yeah.
time frame where people are like coming off a late night bender or something. It was the rough crowd. But otherwise we had great experiences. But
They weren't even panhandling, but I bet
Right, that's
I
what's
bet it's
weird.
illegal. I bet they
But
can't.
we couldn't believe it. It was so hot. It was 113 was the high that day, which I truly think like the dry heat is so different. Like it's so
Yeah.
hot here.
Right.
It's miserable
If I
with the
go outside
humidity.
right now, I get soaking wet.
So we're all sweaty and gross, but like it did kind of take your breath away because it was so hot. So like if I was gonna be homeless, I would not be doing it in Vegas or out in the desert. Like I don't know
Right.
how they were surviving because we
Well,
couldn't
how
even
the hell
stay
are you gonna get out of
outside.
there? You take off walking to the next
Ugh,
spot. You gotta cross the
desert.
desert to get there.
Yeah, I guess that's true, but it was
brutal.
the heat during the day was pretty intense
Like
on the,
we
like
saw,
walking around.
which I'm sure is normal, but like we're just walking down the strip, or what's it called, Las
The
Vegas
strip.
Strip, and what, 8 o'clock at this point, and there's a dude just going through the trash can, pulling out drinks that had liquid in them and setting them to the side. He found a
Yeah.
beer. He's like, all right. I'm
Ones
like,
with
damn.
ice because he's probably so dehydrated.
Yes.
So that was, yeah, we definitely experienced the homeless and then we experienced the glitz and glam and all the wealthy people and people winning big jackpots and
Oh yeah. You got some
dressing
pictures to
up.
put up.
Yeah, it was fun to dress up.
My mindset when we saw the homeless on day one, then from then on, like as I'm going around the city, I was looking for like little hiding spots. Like if I was homeless, I would sleep back there. They've
That would
got
be
it.
your home.
They've got it pretty much tightened up though. There's not many
Yeah.
places you can just
It
lay
wasn't
down and take a
overwhelmed at all
nap.
with homeless at
No.
all. But and like Uber got you around everywhere.
We had a private Uber. He messaged me when we got home.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, like
he got our number while we were
yesterday, I
there.
got a text message from our Uber, private Uber. He gave us his number later, and he was like, "Just thanks for everything. Make sure you hit me up when you come back." So our customer that we just worked for is going out there this week, and I sent him our Uber's number.
Did you?
Yeah,
That's
and told him
good.
that he'd be
Yeah.
calling. So
Well, and because it's like cheaper, and then your driver makes more. Because I didn't know that Uber takes like half or
yeah,
more than half
more than
than
half. Like
of the fare. So
I
the
think he
Uber
said like
drivers,
60%
yeah,
more.
I thought they got way more than that, the drivers. So they're probably not supposed to do that, but who cares? So
Yeah,
it's better for the
you'll never
driver,
catch
and then
this
they're
guy.
so nice and they're like quick and but that yeah, I mean transportation was good, food was great,
Clubs were awesome. We went to
and Jesse doesn't even like clubs, and we had so much fun,
we had fun. We went to a day pool party,
which was a blast.
like rooftop pool, I guess.
It was
Is that what it
marquee,
was? The
yeah,
marquee.
at
So we were
our
pumping
hotel.
our fists, having a good time. We had a blast.
It was so fun.
We went to a nightclub.
Went to Excess in the Wynn,
We went
which
to
was
a
very fun.
burlesque show, which
Yeah.
was like a topless show, but it was pretty cool. They were like,
They were
I don't know,
great.
they
They
were
were
like
good.
so strong.
Yeah.
Like this girl's from Ukraine and she's doing the flag pole and like going up the pole and stuff. And I'm looking at her back and there's like all these back muscles
It's like
just
the
ripped.
sheet thing where the big sheets hang and they do all the acrobatics on 'em. I don't know what that's called, like aerial artist or something,
Right.
but it was crazy.
crazy.
They were acrobatics.
They were good.
We only had reservations at Super Frico. Otherwise, we just ate random like places and it worked out great.
Yeah.
So,
Super Frico was a restaurant in our casino. It had a little bit of a show going on. It was
like
pretty
as you
good.
ate, yeah, it
As
was
you
good.
ate.
So yeah, highly recommend Vegas. We'll be back for sure.
We got so drunk in Vegas. Not drunk, but it was just when you're on vacation partying your fourth, you're like pretty much drinking the whole time. If
It wasn't
If
like
it's
a
not
blackout
early.
drunk. It was just like an ongoing buzz
ongoing drink.
that would
yeah.
escalate at different points in the night, and then
Right, like
then we'd go to
hour 36, you'd be peaking, and then around hour 45, you'd be coming down again, and then you'd peak again.
take a nap.
Yeah, take a nap for a couple hours. So I don't know which morning, maybe like the second or third morning, we get up and we're starting to feel it. We're dehydrated and
Starving.
starving. So I'm like, let's go get some breakfast. So we walk. When you leave your casino in Vegas, you're not just going down the elevator and going out. They make sure the elevators are in the center of the gaming. So when you come out, you don't just go right to the front door. You come into the center of the game and
Everything's so far.
you gotta play.
It's a hike.
It's far. So we get out, we go outside, we get up on the sky bridge, we cross the street, and we're going for a long walk. We've been walking for a while. we get in this building like where the food's at, probably like 2 miles away, I don't know. And Lisa looks at me. I hadn't even really looked at her face to face. We've just been walking and talking, and she looks at me. And I noticed that like one eye I can't see, and the other eye I can see her whole eye. It was like this. And she turned away, and I was like, Lisa, look at me. And she looked back at me, and she had lost one of the glass pieces out of her
The lens.
sunglasses. So she had like
But I didn't notice.
shaded lens on this side, and this side was just like clear. It was just her face, I was like, Lisa, you're missing a lens on your sunglasses.
I was so tired and like dying and like needed food.
You was just walking
we
with
had
it.
been outside too, and I
Yeah,
didn't
we've been
notice that like it was
outside.
so bright in one of my eyes. But I wonder how many people looked at me like, "Dang, look at that girl.
Yeah.
She's having a hard time."
That's how you know you're having a good time in Vegas. When
Yeah,
you
I
walk
had
around with
no clue until you said to me that I was missing a
the
lens.
lens.
I was.
So
So yeah,
the nightlife was the best, I thought, because it's so hot in the day.
yeah,
At least when the sun goes down, you can walk around outside without
yeah. It cooled off to a nice
so bad.
temperature.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So all around, that was a great trip. I
yeah.
loved it. The worst is always coming home. You're flying, you're
Tired.
hungover, party's over.
Yeah, back to work.
You got
High anxiety.
you got some old Russian woman taking your armrest. God, I hate that on airplanes. I look at Lisa right when we get on the plane, like, this is mine and my neighbor's armrest, right? So I would get like half, I would think, or maybe half like that, or even half. No, she sits down, she's like this. I look at Lisa, I'm like, son of a bitch. I got my arm over
I had
like this
Jesse in the
now.
middle because he had a neck pillow and I just had like a little travel pillow that wasn't a neck one. And I was like, I need the window to like prop my pillow up. And luckily he's so nice to me. He was like, okay. So he sat in the middle.
Yeah,
But at least it was a direct flight,
it was a
Southwest.
direct flight. It wasn't bad.
Yeah. So good trip, good 40th birthday.
Yes, 40th birthday was a big hit.
Now back to reality.
But I'm still celebrating. My buddy, Jesse number one,
Oh yeah.
just left from getting me a Yeti lunchbox cooler.
Sweet is a good gift.
I'm stoked about it. So I'm gonna show up to work tomorrow. I'm
Yeah.
gonna put May Excavating sticker
Yeah.
on the side. I'm gonna be big rooster walking in my Yeti. I
It was
can't
a
wait.
very thoughtful gift. You got a
It's a
lot of
nice
thoughtful
one.
gifts from a lot of nice friends.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I didn't expect so many people to get you presents, really.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. You're turning 40.
I
You got a lot of
expected
gifts.
I expected those gifts
Oh,
too.
okay.
I've worked hard these past 40 years, so I expect some gifts from you some bitches coming to my party.
Yeah. Well, it was good.
It was good. And then after the party, I guess we can talk business because we've been doing a lot of business. We're just busy. We're
Yeah.
always busy. Like today when I got home from work, which I didn't get to stop working, but I'm just like, holy shit, my mind is going a million
Mhm.
miles an hour. Like, do this, do that. Don't forget to call this guy, do that.
Yeah.
It's that time of the year.
And
We're going hard.
we talk about trying to like grow the business and do more commercial work. And it's been so crazy, like learning all these little hurdles and weird things, like trying to get plans. Our employee will be like looking into different jobs and plans and call me like, hey, you have to have a registration with this random whatever. And I'm like, I've never even heard of that. So I look it up. Okay, it's for the state. I go fill all this paperwork, send them all this documentation, get that back. And then the next week, he's like, this is a different plans and they want you to have this designation. And I'm like, let me look up that. Okay, this is for the state also. It's all the same information, but for a different organization to like certify that you're a good company and stuff. And then, I mean, I'm talking, there's like 5. So like every week I'm trying to do my regular work and it's like, I'm not complaining. It's just like all these weird little hiccups where it's like, well, we can't even get those plans because we don't have this. Then you got to submit it. Then you got to wait for it to come back. And then if you have problems, you have to call the state. And a lot of the people that work there are really hateful. And it's just like this crazy, like rigmarole of like wasted time, it feels like. But we're getting it done. So
But
that's
it's
all that
working.
matters.
We've seen results from the
Yeah.
hard work. So luckily we did hire some more help for Lisa
Yeah.
to work full time. She's been great, helping a lot.
Big help.
So when you start seeing these better edited videos,
Yeah.
she's
She's
pulling
going to
through.
help on all the things, personal, business, TikTok, videos, all the stuff, because I need help on all the things, like not
Everything.
just one. So, yeah, she's been a big help. And another thing that I've realized lately that would be advice for people going into business that I'm like shooting myself in the foot about. That's not the word. What's the word like when you're like mad at yourself?
Slamming your dick in the door.
No. Another thing that I've noticed as we're like doing the commercial work and as we've started to grow more and more, that's frustrating me that I wish I would have done when we started was for so long, I just kept track of so much stuff in my head, like what the tractors we had and their payment date and their payment amount and when we bought them and like all this, our insurance and our insurance number and our account number and all this tons of information I just had in my head. And I should have started making spreadsheets of all this stuff with serial numbers and plate numbers on which truck has which plate and when they expire. I mean, all this information that I would just keep track of on my own. And then like when you start adding more and more equipment and more trucks and more people, you can't keep track of that in your head. So I realized that and I'm desperately trying to now like backtrack and go through all my files and like dig up all these serial numbers and dig up what plate is here to put it all on paper. But it would have been so much easier if I would have started keeping track on any kind of document on my computer years ago. And so now it's like, that's my new workers have been a big help with helping me like get that in a spreadsheet. Like, here's all the info. I don't have time to sit there and like type it in. And so she's helping me organize all that. So we have a resource, and even like all the stuff, the different certifications you need and like different numbers, like for DOT or for the Board of Elections and all this different stuff. You have like different little numbers for that they assign you when you register. And so it's like, I need a sheet that has all of those so I know what
Yeah.
I've done and when
Our
they
resume is going to be
expire.
a mile long before we get a damn commercial job.
Yeah, I
just
mean,
to
there's
get
just
these
so
things.
many little steps. I mean, it's a thing to remember because
It's like
you,
gang signs. WBO, OBC,
it's a
D.
lot. But
You
it
got a
is.
lot.
It's like that. And there's so many different ones that different jobs need and want. And I think it just is important to keep your work and like all your documents in one place and store it well on your computer and have it backed up and have good files in your folder. Like I have a better file system now, but
Yeah,
it's still not as organized as I want it to be.
the Google Drive thing that we're doing is helping a lot. So we can
Yeah.
share it between our estimator,
And us.
me, and Lisa.
So I can get on my Gmail account and pull up the document that Jesse's put information into or our estimator and see what they've done that day. And then if I have questions, I can ask questions or I can edit it and say, we're not going to bid this, take that one off or whatever it is, or we're going to, get the plans for this. So it's like a way to communicate. That's been a big help for us.
Yeah.
And that's Google Drive using Google Docs or the Google Sheets, which is like Excel.
Right.
Which is a learning curve too, because we've never used
never
that.
done that,
So it's
yeah.
like just little, so then you feel frustrated because everything's taking forever, but it's worth it. It's just a lot of little nuances that are like, that I could see why people throw in the towel and are
Right.
like, just forget it.
It's what we keep telling ourselves. Like, it's so much hard work just to be able to bid the stuff
Yeah.
that surely everybody's not doing it.
There's no way there because it's so much time and it's such a headache. And if you don't have like people in your office doing it, there's no way.
There's no way.
You couldn't do this all yourself if you were just out running equipment and coming back at night and trying to, you wouldn't even have, because you have to call people during the day to get answers.
I run the tractors, and we've hired a guy to work in the office because I'm just not as productive in the office. I'm more
Yeah.
productive on the tractor.
Well,
I
and
know that.
it's the evening too, so it's like so hard to come in from work and then sit at a computer for
That's what I
anyone,
do.
I think. I mean, you have to do that, but I'm saying it's hard to be super productive and like do your best work. You've done that for our whole business career, but I'm saying like all this extra legwork of finding the jobs and getting plans, and a lot of that has to be done during the day. And
bid meetings. I can't go to pre-bid
Yeah.
meetings when I'm making money doing this. So it
Exactly.
just makes more sense.
And then I would go, and then my backlog of work is like out of control. So yeah, it made total sense to hire someone. He's doing a good job, like following up on so many different things.
Yeah.
But so you want to talk about like how we did get a job,
Yeah. We got two.
but like
So far.
what came of it? Like these
Yeah.
are just little letdowns where you're like, you've got to just overcome this and not dwell on it and not get stuck on the like negative.
Yeah. So we bid a double box culvert. It was take out a big galvanized culvert and install two concrete precast box culverts. It's not rocket science. You just got to get the grade right. You get your first, second box set right, using a rover, your GPS. Once the first two are set right, they pretty much go pretty easy. Down, we were going to put in like 8 of them, I think, and it was double. Down to the 8th one, but the first two are the most critical. Your last one's good. It's not that hard. I mean, we've done a lot harder
A
work,
lot harder
a lot
job,
harder stuff. So
more complicated.
it was a 224 or 200,
Right around 200,000.
I think I had it at 200,000, and I won it by $20,000 or yeah, $20,000. Second place was 220, and then it went like 450, a
Real high,
million.
yeah.
Like people
Which
just
is
throw
normal. Like,
yeah, people throw the craziest numbers. Why
but
they're
you can't
wasting
be
their time.
afraid to bid it because I think, what if all the people that bid lower didn't bid at all? Or what happened to
Right.
us could have happened and they could have got the job anyway at that higher
Right.
price. So keep going. Sorry.
So we were low bidder at 200. I think it was going to actual cost to do this job was going to be around 130, 150, probably do it in about 2 weeks. So there was good profit there. I wasn't so low that I was going to eat my lunch on the job, I don't think.
No. And we wouldn't have made, by the time you pay tractors and fuel and insurance,
we
it's
wouldn't
fine.
have
We
made all
wouldn't have
that.
made $1 million or
But-
like that much, but
I would have been able to do it
we
pretty
wouldn't have
easy.
been in a bad spot for sure.
And we didn't get the damn job. We were low bidder. So the whole point of all this is they put it out for bid. If you're a responsible bidder, which we are, we got all these fucking documentations. We
Been
have a
in
bid
business
bond.
for 8 years.
We spent money, like we spent so much money to put this bid together. We win the bid. We're waiting. We're like, okay, now what happens? Like, we got the bid. They call a few days later. Oh, they talk to me. They're like, what work have you done that's similar to this? I tell her everything we did. We send them our capability statement, which has got some big projects on it. And and they went with somebody else. And what happens
Go ahead.
is these small cities, it was a small city
They had a
somewhere.
board meeting to vote on.
Yeah. They have a board meeting. Well, if say our town has got a guy that they like to use, and then somebody from out of town, a little bit further away, comes in, he wins, then they can throw out the lowest or the lowest and highest bid and go with the next ones.
Mm-hmm.
So it's usually like their buddy that they know, they tell him, hey, this is kind of what it's going. I think that's what's going on. It's got
Yeah, that's a big assumption, and that's super illegal. So we're not saying that our
I'm not
local
saying
towns
that-
do that.
No, I'm not saying that's what they're, but
But
it sure fucking looks like it.
It's happened on a different job too, where we were the second lowest,
Mm-hmm.
and the next lowest, the person that they did give the job to, was a local contractor in that town, and we're not that far from this particular town, and he was only $5,000 off of the engineer's estimate.
Which
and
they didn't
all
put
the
out
other
till after the
right,
bid.
they did. They only put it on the bid tab, not
Yeah.
they didn't put it out before everybody bid. And all us, and then everybody above us was way higher. So this guy was like 50 grand lower. I don't know. So that is strange, and it makes you like
Strange.
question, like, is there more to this? Like, is there inside deals? You know, there are.
There's
People go to
gotta
prison
be.
for that all the time. But
So we won the job, and they didn't give it to us.
and they said that they went with a contractor that had done the same type of work for them in the past, so they had a proven track record. Like they had done that box culvert type job for the same town, so they knew for sure. And they were the next lowest, which is a bunch of BS. But that's what they put in the bids now, that the whoever, whether it's a city or whoever it is, has the right to refuse any
Yeah.
bid. So
But
that's like
what
how they get out
happens
of that.
there is a city of the city officials took taxpayers' money, and they said, even though this guy's done millions of dollars of work in the past couple of years, and this isn't a bad project, let's give it to this guy and cost the taxpayers $20,000 extra dollars. I would have
Right.
done the same work, would
Yeah.
have been just as good, but instead, because they like somebody else or they didn't feel comfortable with us, why I don't know, because they don't know us. Maybe
So
that's why.
on the flip side of that, I do understand that a little bit, because there are like fly-by-night companies that come
But we
in.
have a bid bond. It doesn't matter.
That's
When
true. That's
we
true.
supply a
You're
bid
right.
bond for the whole job. So if I fuck up and I don't get this
The bid bond's
box
for the
culvert,
bid. We would have
for
got
the
a
bid,
performance bond after. Yeah.
right,
Well,
and
that's what
then
you're
they would have got a performance
saying.
bond.
Yeah. You're right. So it
So
would have been
if I do
covered.
the job and I fuck up, they get all their money back through that or
That's
whatever they
true.
need.
So really
they're
that's
wasting
BS.
taxpayers' money. That's what it
Right.
is.
That is.
It's insured. My bid is
And
insured.
there's an engineer that's involved, so they could, as we're doing it, if they think we're doing it wrong, could be like, no. Like
Cut
they
'em
could
off.
check at each
Take it.
stop and be like, or each step and say,
So it's like an election, basically. Pete.
yeah.
The election, it's rigged. I feel like all this stuff is rigged because I won fairly and they took it from me.
Yeah.
At least that's the way I felt. So we
frustrating.
bid a big boat ramp job. We were second on that.
So which was good.
Which
Like we
was
were
good.
happy with that.
Yeah.
Like knowing that our bidding is getting that close, that's a win.
Because it's really nerve wracking. I think that bid was what, two something, I think. Right?
250 maybe. I can't remember. Something
Around
like
a $250,000. So I'm turning in a bid for $250,000 that's insured again by a bond company, and I'm thinking, please don't let number 2 be $750,000,
Yeah.
because then I'm gonna be like,
That
oh
would be
shit,
so bad.
I fucked up. Which in that case they'd probably
They
throw it
probably
out.
would throw it out and be like, you're way off.
But
Like,
boy, your heart would drop if they're like, okay,
Come
May
do it.
Excavating 250, the next company 750, and you're like, oh shit, I left 500,000 on the
much.
table, and I got to do it, or I
yeah.
get screwed.
And
So,
that's the scary part of the commercial stuff, is that is like, it is a learning curve. It's so different to bid commercial versus residential stuff.
Mhm.
And then the headache of everything we just talked about, like just when you feel like, oh, excited you won it, and then they're like, never mind. And you're like, are you kidding
and
me?
the
Like,
hours that go into it.
oh
Like,
yeah,
we spent
man
real
hours,
money,
all of us
real man hours, 3-4
looking at
people.
these jobs, driving out of town to look at them and
Right.
putting it all together, getting quotes on all the materials. Like, it's just a lot of work
Yeah.
to not get anything back for it.
And then we bid. So our estimator's doing good because I wouldn't have been bidding none of this before with me working this
You don't
many
have
hours. We bid, I think it was about a mile of sidewalk that was kind of local to us, not too
More
far.
local, yeah.
We lost it. I think we were second on it
We were
too.
close.
We
Yeah,
were
I think we were
close on
second.
that. And then we bid some more sidewalk repair that we got, we think.
But it has to go to a county board meeting
It-
too.
Yeah,
It's
we were
so
low bidder
weird.
by $750 on this other project. So like our bidding's right there. We won, and then we wait. It's like crickets. We're like, okay. We call to check twice. We didn't get no answer,
Yeah.
no response. And then finally through email, they're like, well, it's got to go to this board and they'll decide if they approve it. What? And it's small sidewalk stuff. Like I could do this shit in the dark, but
Yeah. It's a wild game and it's new to us. So, but
I think
you
though,
can't give up. You have to keep going. You have to just
oh
keep
yeah,
pushing forward. And then once you break through, I feel like the rest is history. Like you just have to get through this initial headache and
right,
get your groove and get your contacts. And then at least that's how I feel.
yeah. So we're doing big things. We've got big things on the horizon. We're looking at a bunch of good jobs. Um, we're excited. Big
Yeah.
things happening. It's just like last week, for example, this is something that happens in construction. It's July, so it's been super humid here. It hasn't rained in 2 months. It's been so dry.
Yeah.
We're going to seed and straw a big project. Big for us. We get done seeding, all the seeds in, we're blowing straw. Weather said, which the weather at this time of the year is saying rain
You
every
never
day,
know.
but it
Yeah.
won't rain. Get all this seeded, get half of it strawed, and it come a monsoon and washed everything away.
How many inches of rain was it? Like,
It was like 2 inches of rain, but it was in 30 minutes or
yeah,
like 20
it was
minutes.
nuts.
It dumped.
Downpour.
I mean, the whole job site was flooded. And
All the seed washed down to the customer's pond. Like you could literally
it was
see
like
it.
floating in balls across the pond with all the
Money out the
straw.
window.
Yeah, it was basically, and this is while, yeah, this is why we're ready to go to Vegas. So like $3,000 that day it cost us. I wasn't planning on gambling.
Not even counting
you
like
know.
manpower and everything else that goes into it. That's just
Right.
supplies.
It was a big hit, so I didn't feel as bad about going to Vegas, but it
Yeah.
did mess it up. Like it was right before we went, so I'm like, damn, I didn't even want to tell Lisa. It's like she might cut back our gambling money and tell me
Yeah.
we only get to take half.
Yeah, but that's just the name of the game in business. It's brutal. That's why you can't always do like Vegas trips and act foolish and go party hard and
Yeah, you gotta have
go out
capital.
all the time. Like you can't because you have to have a cushion. So in that, it always hurts to lose money. I don't care how much it is, but you have to be able to like rebound from it. And if you're out there always like just foolishly spending and acting cool,
Right.
you're not gonna make it.
The rebound's hard too, though.
It is. I mean, yeah, it's never easy. I don't care if it's $50. I'm sick when we lose money on stuff.
Yeah. So that customer, I mean, that was our fault. I do put it in my contracts. Once we seed and straw it and we leave, then if Mother Nature washes it out, that's Mother
Right.
Nature.
Or if
It's
you don't
nothing to
water
do
your
with
grass
us.
and it doesn't
You don't
grow, it's
water
like,
it. I'm not coming back to mow it. I'm not coming
right.
back to water it. It's all in my contract. But since we were about 45 minutes away from being done, I got to eat
It's
it.
on us.
And we'll redo the whole thing. That means we got to go back in there, re-soil condition, reseed, and re-straw everything. But sometimes you're the duck, sometimes you're the hunter.
Yeah.
So
But that's okay. That's just how it goes.
it happens. So we're fixing to wrap up our big project that we've been on for 18 plus months.
Yeah,
We're in the final stages of it, so that's pretty exciting
it is.
for somebody, not us. But now we got to figure out where our next project is.
Yeah.
It's just part of it. It's a roller coaster.
It is. And I think, like you said, like having an estimator in there helping us look at jobs and even helping us figure out all these little things we need to get done to even bid the jobs. Like that's just stuff neither of us have had time for all these years. Like we're both just like running around like chickens with our heads cut off. So he's definitely helped us get on the right track and actually
And
get going in
when you
that
do these
direction.
bids, some things I'm figuring out that I didn't know before, you'll get a bid tabulation after the bid. So like when we done the boat ramp, you got your unit price. It'll say your dirt excavation, concrete, all this stuff, and it tells you your bid. So when after the bid, they'll tell you everybody's, and it breaks down their, I think it was unit prices. Yeah, all the
I don't
unit
think it's
price.
on every bid. It just depends on how the bids are. But yeah, that one it did.
But it helped us see what everybody else is
Yeah.
kind of at.
See if we're off somewhere and stuff.
I was all over the place. My bid was right, but my unit numbers were all over the place.
But at the end of the day, you got it right
But
there.
at the end of the
So,
day, I was right there. So,
but it is. It's just learning.
yeah,
You can't ever think you know it all. Even though you've been doing this all these years, like there's always more to learn.
yeah. And I was nervous. Like I'm bidding a $250,000 job. I'm nerved up about it. Like I hope my bid doesn't look stupid. So when it comes out, it's 250 or it's 220, 250, 300. And then another big company was like 1.6 million.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying that. What the hell?
But that's why I feel like you can't be worried about that because I really think some of the companies, if they're like you said this, like if they're super busy, they're probably like, go bid that and we wouldn't do it unless it was this high because we're going to hire more guys
Right.
just to do it. and hopefully we win it
Yeah.
because no one else bids it, or who knows what happens. Maybe it's
I
people.
feel like they get so much built up that now they're booked, like you said.
Mhm.
And if
It's
we're gonna
just
take that on, make it worth it. And
yeah,
sometimes people don't bid. Like
yeah,
they might bid everything around, and there might be jobs that's just them only, and
yeah.
they might win something that high. But I
But it
can't
is
even get this
funny.
shit when I win it. I
I
don't know
know.
what the hell.
It's a weird, and I think stuff I've read about like with commercial work, and it makes sense. It talks about like how you do have to like network and get to know other
That's what
bigger
I was getting ready to say.
other contractors and city people
You gotta
and
take
the
them to lunch,
government
baby.
the government officials and all these people like the Army Corps of Engineers people. Like you actually have to like reach out and get to know these people, which it's so funny. Like I love talking to people. I'm not shy at all.
People love talking to you.
But I hate like networking. Like I hate meeting people knowing that like I'm only talking to you for this one reason. I just like getting know. I'd rather meet like a stranger and then find out later they work for this place. I need to know them. Like then no, it's only for this purpose. Like it just feels so forced. But I know it's just the
You
name of the
just give me
game.
the cookies, baby, and I'll go network.
I
I'll
need
go.
to have you do it. I'll come with you, but which is just funny because I'm outgoing. But whenever I know it's so forced, I just feel so fake, and I'm like, I hate doing that. I hate forcing this conversation. We all just know what I want, so give me a job.
That's,
Like,
I think that's about, I'd say it's 90%. Like the
I do
big
too.
companies that we work with, different places, they all network.
I
Like they
know.
are,
We need to get
they're
with
going
it.
to lunches, they're taking
Trade
people
shows and
trade
like just
shows.
different getting to so you put a face to a name
Yeah.
and your company name's out there. I do think that's a big part of it, so people know who you are.
hmm
And then when they see your name come across the bid, they're more likely to be like, "Oh, I know who that is." Like,
Right.
yeah, they're good. Go with them.
Let's go networking.
All right, that's what we'll do tonight.
Damn, tonight. Start calling up big wigs. Hey,
See who wants to go to
you want to
Vegas.
meet us? Yeah, meet us out at Vegas. I guess that's it, guys. But we got a lot going on. By the time we record again, we should be the owners of something new.
Yeah,
This should be big.
exciting.
We got some big stuff happening. We're buying a big piece of real estate. So we're excited about that. More stuff to learn about,
Mhm.
but it's worth it. So next time we see you guys, hopefully we got that information.
Yeah.
And that's about all we got. You're caught up. Thank you. Reckless success. All right, guys, we're going to wrap up. You can follow us on TikTok and YouTube at reckless.success, Instagram at recklesssuccess. We're on Spotify and all major podcast services. Hit that subscribe button, please. For more information on May Excavating, check out our website or TikTok. That's a wrap. Thanks.